Detective Claire Monroe had solved dozens of murders in Los Angeles, but nothing prepared her for what waited across the sea. A private island, a dead man on the beach, and a secret invitation that would change her life forever. Detective Claire Monroe hated invitations. She hated them because they usually meant she had to smile when she didn't want to. But this one was different. It came in a thick white envelope. No return address. No logo. Just 6 words printed in bold black ink. Come to Crimson Isle. Solve the game. Inside, a plane ticket. One way. No sender. Claire could have tossed it in the trash. She could have ignored it like every other scam that hit her desk. But something about the timing felt personal. 3 nights ago, she received an anonymous email. I know what you did in Echo Park. Echo Park was where her last case went sideways. The media said she saved a family. But the truth was messier. A suspect died when he shouldn't have. Claire had carried that guilt in her chest like a loaded gun ever since. Now this island. This message. Someone knew. The flight was private. The pilot didn't speak much. Only gave a nod when they descended over a thick, fog-choked island about 50 miles off the California coast. Crimson Isle. Once a tech billionaire's luxury retreat, now abandoned. Or so they said. Claire stepped off the boat onto the crumbling dock. Waiting for her was a man in a dark windbreaker. No smile, no greeting. Just a clipboard. Detective Monroe? That's me. Follow me. The others are waiting. The others? They walked inland through damp, twisting paths, past rusted statues and overgrown tennis courts. Finally, the trees broke open to reveal a crumbling mansion. Faded white walls, boarded windows, and a massive front door slightly ajar. Inside, 5 people were gathered in a dusty dining hall. Marcus Vance, a disgraced FBI profiler, nursing a glass of whiskey. Lena Torres, a sharp-tongued investigative journalist, tapping her phone. Dr. Evan Price, a corporate psychologist with nervous hands. Noah Fields, an ex-convict with tattoos creeping up his neck. Senator Dana Holloway, too polished to belong here. Each one had gotten the same invitation. Each one had secrets. Before anyone could ask why they were there, a loudspeaker crackled to life. The voice was low, distorted, and cold. Welcome to Crimson Isle. One of you is already dead. Gasps. Whispers. A shared look of dread. The first body waits on the beach. Solve the murder, or the next will be one of you. The voice cut off. Silence swallowed the room. Claire didn't waste time. She bolted through the mansion, down the cliffs, and onto the beach where the waves hit like fists. And there he was, face down in the sand, blood mixing with the surf. A man no one recognized, a knife buried deep in his back. Claire crouched beside the body. No ID, no clues, except one thing. Pinned to his jacket was a familiar phrase. I know what you did. She stood, scanning the cliffs above where the others gathered. One of them was a killer, and the game had already begun. Detective Monroe came here chasing ghosts. Instead, she found a killer who knew her secrets better than anyone. And this was only the first night. Detective Claire Monroe had seen killers hide in crowds before, but never like this. On Crimson Isle, the crowd was just 5 people, and one of them was already lying dead in the sand. The tide crept higher, tugging at the dead man's jacket like it wanted to claim him too. Claire crouched beside the body, brushing sand from his face. Mid-30s. No wallet. No phone. Just a jagged knife wound between the ribs. But something bothered her. The knife was old. Rusted. Like it had been stolen from the island itself, not carried in. Behind her, footsteps crunched over broken shells. She turned to see Marcus Vance, the ex-FBI profiler, hands in his pockets. Vance squinted at the body. Never seen him before. Claire stood. You're a profiler. Profile this. Why invite a detective and a dead man to the same party? Vance gave a thin smile. Because the detective makes the murder interesting. They carried the body back to the mansion, covering him in an old tarp they found in the boathouse. The others gathered around the dining table like suspects in a play. Claire spoke first. Everyone put your phones on the table. Now. Reluctantly, they obeyed. 6 phones. One of them buzzed just as she lined them up. It was Lena Torres, the journalist. The screen showed a message. The game has begun. Solve it or pay the price. Claire locked eyes with her. Want to explain? Lena snatched the phone back. I got the same invite as you. I didn't kill anyone. But her voice wavered. Claire noticed. At dawn, Claire led them back to the dock. The boats were gone. Every single one. No radios. No cell service. No sign of the pilot who dropped them off. Someone planned this down to the last nail, Claire muttered. Senator Holloway folded her arms, tight-lipped. This island used to be owned by tech moguls. It's riddled with tunnels, surveillance systems, even panic rooms. Someone's using it against us. Claire stared at her. And how do you know that, Senator? Dana Holloway's silence said everything. Back in the mansion, Claire did what she always did. She built a crime scene in her head. The victim was stabbed, but not robbed. Killed on the beach, not dumped there. Knife from the island itself. She questioned the group one by one. Marcus Vance, calm, detached, claimed he was in the library when the murder happened. Lena Torres said she was exploring the South Cliffs for cell service. No proof. Dr. Evan Price, shaky, claimed he was asleep in his room, but his bed was untouched. Noah Fields, no alibi, but he didn't seem afraid of being accused. Senator Holloway offered nothing but political spin. I don't answer to you, detective. Claire returned to the beach that night, alone. Something kept gnawing at her. Why stab someone and leave a message? Was this murder a warning? Her flashlight caught something beneath the rocks. She knelt down and pulled it free. A security camera, wires ripped out, but still blinking red. Someone was watching them. Suddenly, a noise behind her. She spun around, gun raised. It was Noah Fields. Easy, detective, he said, hands up. I came to find answers. Same as you. Claire lowered her gun, but barely. You're an ex-con. What's your stake in all this? Noah's face darkened. Same as yours. Someone dragged me here with my past hanging over my head. I think we're all running from something. Claire stared at him, heart pounding. And for the first time, she realized something chilling. They weren't just participants in the game. They were the pawns. When they returned to the mansion, a fresh horror waited. Taped to the front door was a second message, written in blood-red paint. 1 down. 5 to go. Detective Claire Monroe had spent years learning how to read people. But what do you do when the island itself is hiding the truth? Morning broke in thick sheets of fog, blanketing Crimson Island gray silence. But there was no peace in the mansion. Claire studied the blood-red message on the door. 1 down. 5 to go. A message meant to terrify. But terror wasn't enough. It was a countdown. She gathered the group in the dining hall. We're searching the house. Every floorboard, every basement, every locked room. This island has secrets. It's time we find them. Marcus Vance smirked. Planning on finding the killer hiding in the broom closet? No, Claire said. I'm planning on finding out who brought us here. In the east wing, behind a crumbling bookshelf, Claire found it, a hidden door. Rusted hinges, sealed for years. Noah Fields helped force it open. Beyond, a narrow staircase spiraled down into darkness. Cold air rose up like a ghost. They descended, flashlights slicing through the pitch black. The tunnels stretched beneath the island like veins. Concrete walls, long-abandoned surveillance rooms, crates marked with strange shipping codes. Claire ran her fingers over an old wall map. The island's layout. Several rooms marked restricted. What the hell was this place? Lena whispered. Senator Holloway spoke from behind them, her voice tight. This island. It was once a government black site. An interrogation facility. Decommissioned. Or so they said. Claire turned to her, her jaw tightening. You knew about this, and you didn't tell us? Holloway met her glare. Would you have come if I had? A scream cut through the silence. Sharp. Human. They bolted toward it, footsteps echoing through the tunnels. In a small concrete room, lit only by a flickering light bulb, they found him, Dr. Evan Price. Lying on the floor, a thick cord wrapped tight around his neck. His face frozen in terror. But unlike the first victim, this wasn't fast. This was slow. Personal. Pinned to his chest was another note. You can't escape your past. 2 murders. No clear suspects. And the realization settled over them like lead. They were being watched down here, too. Lena Torres snapped. We need to stick together. This isn't random. Someone is hunting us one by one. Marcus Vance shook his head. Or they're making us turn on each other. Classic predator move. Claire's mind worked through the pieces. The black site, the abandoned surveillance rooms, the cryptic notes. Whoever was behind this wasn't just killing. They were judging them. Back in the mansion, Claire confronted Senator Holloway. You were part of this place. What were you doing here before it was shut down? The senator sighed, rubbing her temples. Years ago, we brought dangerous people here. Traffickers, spies, murderers. We interrogated them off the books. But something happened. People disappeared. The operation was buried. Claire leaned in, voice low. And now someone's digging it back up. Holloway didn't deny it. Looks like it. That night, alone in her room, Claire stared at her own hands. Echo Park. The mistake she made. The life she took. And a sudden thought hit her like a freight train. What if they were all here because of their sins? What if someone out there had decided it was time they paid for what they'd done? The killer didn't just want bodies. They wanted confessions. In the dead of night, Claire gathered the remaining 4. Tomorrow, we split into teams. We sweep the island. I don't care if it takes all day. Marcus Vance crossed his arms. And if the killer is in your team? Claire locked eyes with him. Cold. Steady. Then I'll handle it. The storm outside rattled the windows as if warning them time was running out. 2 victims down. 4 suspects remain. On Crimson Isle, secrets buried deeper than bodies, and Detective Claire Monroe is running out of time to uncover hers. On Crimson Isle, justice didn't wear a badge. It hid behind shadows, watching, waiting. And now, it was about to speak. Morning arrived like a threat, not a promise. Detective Claire Monroe divided the survivors into 2 teams. Claire and Lena Torres would search the North Cliffs. Marcus Vance, Noah Fields, and Senator Holloway would sweep the old chapel ruins on the island's southern side. Stay on comms, Claire ordered, handing out dusty old walkie-talkies they'd found in the tunnels. Anyone sees something, anything, you call it in. Vance gave a thin smile. Or what? You'll arrest us. Claire met his gaze, sharp as broken glass. I'll do worse. The southern cliffs were jagged and cold, waves crashing far below. At the cliff's edge stood the remains of a chapel, its roof half collapsed, stained glass shattered, vines crawling through the altar. Inside, the air smelled of rot and rust. Marcus, Noah, and the senator spread out. In the back room, behind a warped wooden door, Noah pried open an old filing cabinet. What they found froze them in place. Manila folders. Dozens of them. Each marked with names. Their names. Claire Monroe. Officer involved shooting. Echo Park. Marcus Vance. Unlawful interrogation. Bureau Case 3422. Lena Torres. Fabricated evidence. Hernandez expose. Dana Holloway. Black site oversight. Crimson Isle. Noah Fields. Armed robbery and witness intimidation. All their secrets. Documented, archived, waiting. But who was keeping the files now? Meanwhile, on the North Cliffs, Claire and Lena found an abandoned control room hidden behind brush. Dust covered the consoles, but the monitors flickered weakly to life. Static. And then a face. Or rather, the blurred silhouette of one. A voice crackled through the speaker. Male, cold, deliberate. You're finally seeing it, Detective. Welcome to your judgment. Claire gritted her teeth. Who are you? The voice ignored her. You wore your badge like armor. But beneath it, you're just another sinner. Claire's hand tightened on her gun, useless against shadows. Solve the game, Detective, or bury your truth with the rest of them. The screen blinked out. Back at the mansion, the 2 groups reassembled. Tensions flared. Marcus slammed the file on the table. Someone built this island as a courthouse. And we're the defendants. Noah shook his head. But who's the judge? Lena, pale and silent, finally spoke. It's someone we put away. Someone we wronged. This isn't random. Claire flipped through the files again. The details were too precise, too intimate. The only person who could know this much about them was someone who had been watching them for years. As they argued, The power suddenly cut out. Darkness swallowed the mansion whole. Footsteps thundered above them. Someone on the second floor. Claire bolted up the staircase, gun drawn. She burst into the master bedroom just in time to see a shadow vanish out the broken window. And on the bed lay a third victim. But this time, it wasn't a murder. It was a message, carved into the wood above the bed. Claire, your turn. Downstairs, the group turned on Claire. Vance narrowed his eyes. Convenient, isn't it? You're always the first to the crime scenes. Always the one who finds the bodies. Noah crossed his arms. You sure you're not running this whole thing? Even Lena stared at her now, uncertainty creeping in. Claire felt the walls close in. She'd come here chasing justice, and now she were the face of a suspect. But deep down, a darker fear gnawed at her. What if she wasn't just the detective in this story? What if she was part of the crime? That night, Claire sat alone in the mansion library, replaying every step in her mind. And then she noticed it. A dusty chessboard, tucked behind the books. Pieces already arranged mid-game. Pinned beneath the Black King was a final note. The king falls tomorrow. Tomorrow, the final move would be played. But on Crimson Isle, the king wasn't the only one who could fall, and Detective Monroe was running out of pawns. Detective Claire Monroe came to Crimson Isle chasing a crime. She found a mirror. And now, the game was about to end, one way or another. The storm rolled in at dawn, wind tearing through the broken mansion like knives. Claire gathered the last survivors in the dining hall. The chessboard from the library sat between them, the Black King still standing. She placed the note beside it. The king falls tomorrow. It's today, she said quietly. And one of us is going to die. Silence. Marcus Vance broke it first. It won't be me. Claire reviewed the files again. Each one detailed a mistake, a crime, a failure in judgment. But one thing bothered her, the first victim from the beach. They never identified him. She dug deeper into the records and found something chilling, a missing persons report from 10 years ago. Name, Thomas Greer. Occupation, former intelligence operative. Assigned to Crimson Isle. Presumed dead, but body never recovered. Claire whispered to herself, heart racing. What if Greer never died? What if he built this game from the ruins of this place? The mansion's speakers crackled to life again. This time, the voice was clear. Human. Familiar. I gave you a chance, detective. Solve the game. Confess your sins. But you just keep looking for someone else to blame. Claire stepped forward, facing the speaker as if the man stood there in the flesh. Where are you, Greer? Hiding behind cameras? Ghosting an island no one remembers? The voice laughed, low and broken. No one hides better than the guilty. Suddenly, the lights died again. Claire shouted, Stay together. But it was too late. Gunfire cracked in the dark. A scream echoed down the hall. When the backup generators flickered on, Marcus Vance lay bleeding in the corner, a bullet through his shoulder. Standing over him, gun trembling, was Senator Holloway. Her face was pale, desperate. He told me to do it, she whispered. I had no choice. Claire disarmed her and cuffed her hands behind her back. But in her mind, a deeper question screamed. Was Holloway acting alone, or was she another pawn moved by Greer's hand? Claire, Noah, and Lena followed the old surveillance cables down to the island's lowest level, a bunker beneath the cliffs. There, in a concrete chamber lit by cracked monitors, they finally found him. Thomas Greer. Older. Scarred. Alive. He sat calmly at a control console, watching them through glassy, tired eyes. You finally made it, Greer said, voice rough. Took you long enough. Claire raised her gun. End it. Now. But Greer just smiled. You still think this is about me? You think locking me up will fix what you've done? He turned the monitor toward them, showing surveillance feeds not just from the island, but from their lives back home. Their families. Their colleagues. Their mistakes. This wasn't punishment, Greer whispered. It was a lesson. You're all criminals pretending to be heroes. Claire faced a choice. Kill him and become exactly what he claimed she was. Or arrest him and carry the weight of what she'd seen forever. She lowered her gun. Justice doesn't come from the barrel of a gun. Even here, Noah stepped forward and cuffed Greer silently. Lena smashed the monitors with a metal pipe, destroying the recordings. Hours later, the Coast Guard, finally alerted by a distress beacon Claire rigged, arrived on the island. Greer was taken into custody. The survivors, bloody and broken, left Crimson behind them. But as the boat pulled away, Claire stared back at the island fading into the fog. And she knew. Some ghosts would never leave her. In the end, Detective Claire Monroe solved the murders. But solving a crime doesn't erase it. On Crimson Isle, justice came with scars, in some cases never close. And far from those blood-soaked beaches, in the cracked streets of another quiet city, something darker is waiting.